Okay, hello Leo. Um, what you are looking at here is um, a fast forward of me laying out your cards for your 2019 reading for love and relationships. The entire year, your predictions, what's going to be happening, what are the dominant energies. Okay, so let me pause here. As you can see, this is a new format. I'm not going to be so academic, and I'm just going to fast forward through laying out the cards. Obviously, if you want to stop your YouTube video to look at the cards I laid out in detail, you're more than welcome to do so. And you get to see me face to face through video, comment on the cards. So I hope you, as I said, I hope you enjoy this new format. I hope it's more convenient for you, sort of like a newscast. So I think you might appreciate that. So consider this sort of like your yearly forecast of what's coming up for you in your relationships. And I will be looking at notes from time to time because I wrote a lot of interesting things. So let's get started here. The first thing I want to point out here, and you should see my arrow with the yellow halo here as I point out the cards. This is your root card. It's actually in the middle row and it's in the middle column. And so Leo, you are a fire sign, okay? So what I find interesting here is that you do have a page of wands, a page bringing fire here right in the middle. So you are up for a lot of great adventures. This is going to be a year of adventure, but it'll also be a year of love, sex, getting it on. Your heart's on fire, okay? And some of this might be about wooing and seducing. So my dominant impressions, especially looking at how all the wands are playing out for you, you've got some wands strategically placed. Even the Magician, even though it's a major arcana card, you'll notice that the Magician has the wand in his hand. That's a symbol of manifestation, power, intent. So this is a good thing. When you see all those wands, the Fool has a wand, the Knight of Wands. Yeah, this is going to be, you've got all these wands in hand, and you're ready for an adventure. You're ready to get things started. Okay. The other thing, yes, your major arcana cards, they're not so much prevalent. You've got near the end of the year, not so much in each row symbolizes 4 months of the year. So your entire year is broken up for through these 3 rows. So this first row is January through April. This row is May through August. And then this last row is September through December. And you'll note that in your last row you have like 4 major arcana cards. So you know, when I see that, lots of big shakeups happening towards the end of the year. For most of the year, not so much. You only have the Fool here. Once again, the Fool is a major expression of this minor card, the Page of Wands. You see him with his little wand, the little boy, ready for an adventure. Well, before the Page of Wands, you've got this Fool here with his wand in hand because he's all set. He's ready to follow his bliss. He's ready to open up to new experiences and seek out what makes him happy, he or her or him. So the relationship between the Fool and the Page of Wands, the Page of Wands is a minor echo of the Fool. It's about taking a risk and going out on faith and trusting yourself and following what makes you happy, okay? And that's always a good thing. That's always a good energy to have here. When we head here to the middle of the year, you actually have this one major arcana card, which is the Wheel of the Year. And this is all about a change in luck. Okay? And what goes up must come down. And one of the things I want to explain here, especially as some of you are watching this and trying to figure out what's going to be happening, don't come to the tarot reading looking for permission to be happy. That's very important. I don't want anyone to watch this video and say, oh no, my year's going to suck, I might as well give up. Have happiness now. Be happy now. Don't seek out, don't come to the tarot with the attitude, will my year suck or not? Okay, that's not what this is about. All life has, every aspect of your life, there are ups and downs. There are good times and bad times. And usually when you see that wheel, it's all about cycles. You know, the Wheel of the Year is very important because we have a lot of tarot cards that are about change, like the Tower and death and different types of transformations. The Wheel of the Year is simply about the natural ebb and flow of the universe. And when I look at your notes, I kind of see you getting back in the groove. That's the first thing I thought of when I looked at your Wheel of Fortune here, or the Wheel of the Year. It's called the Wheel of Fortune in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot. So the Wheel of the Year expresses the natural changes in life. People come into our lives, people go out. But it's most important that you don't fight those changes. You don't fight keeping things the same, because you won't be able to do it. And so, people change, people grow, or people stagnate. You change, you grow. No one is ever the same from one day to the next, from 1 month to the next, from 1 year to the next. So I'm waxing philosophical for a reason, so that you have an understanding that the tarot is all about the big picture in your life. And it's sort of limiting when you come to the tarot reading and you come with the attitude of pulling a slot machine. You pull the handle of a slot machine to see if you win the jackpot. Don't come to tarot readings with that attitude. You'll be disappointed every time. The tarot is all about just giving you a bigger picture of all the things that are happening in your life, understanding the bigger meaning of why things happen, breakups, marriages, children, the whole thing. So I thought it was important to explain that, because I noticed that a lot of people come, they'll watch the readings on YouTube and they'll say, oh, Aire, I can never get a break. My readings always suck. And really what you should be focused on is, what's the bigger picture of the things that I want in life as far as relationships. So having said that, yeah, not a lot happening the first 8 months of the year. But then as you head to the end of the year, you have the Chariot. Things get a move on here, and it seems to be spurred by the energy of this Wheel of the Year. But then you have the Hierophant, and that's reversed. And the Hierophant is all about trust and tradition and faith. And sometimes it can mean legal issues, mediation. But the general purpose of the Hierophant is to always understand, to have a higher spiritual ground. A higher spiritual awareness, a new belief, a new tradition, learning about something new, embracing a new belief. Sometimes it can be religion. When the Hierophant is reversed, there is a lack of trust. There is a lack of faith. There is dogma and believing in things for the wrong reason. So the Chariot is heading right into that Hierophant reversed. And so the end of the year, there's going to be some challenges to the relationship as far as trust. And are we strong enough? And I'll address these two fives because you actually have a Five of Wands and a Five of Swords right next to each other. And these are two cards about conflict. Okay. But then we have the Magician, and the Magician is about manifesting power, using your influence, making things happen. And then you end with the Sun, which is always a good thing because the Sun is such a powerful card. It's always a message that things are going to turn out okay. Even though there's still issues and problems and obstacles, when you have the Sun, it's sort of like, it'll be okay. Just stay positive and stay optimistic. You're on the right path. Okay? So, those are your major arcana. I've explained your root cards. What I see going on here in this first row, looking at my first row. So you have the Six of Wands. You're coming into the new year with a sense of victory and optimism. And it's underscored with the Nine of Pentacles. This is all about the good life. All right? And as the numbers go higher from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you're heading to the end of a cycle. And Pentacles are always about the physical world, the real life, the money, the issues surrounding your work and job. So things are going pretty well for you as far as your physical life. And then you've got this Empress here. Oh, she was a major arcana card. I completely ignored her. But here's where I start seeing some of the seduction and sex in the new love affair. Or maybe it's an old love affair. And it can actually mean, in some interpretations, a baby. She's the goddess of fertility, but she's also the goddess of the material world, and she's very sexual. Sometimes I read this and I feel this out as seduction and sex, and that's pretty much the impression I'm getting here. But then, oddly enough, you've got this Knight of Swords, and Knights are very prominent here because you have a Knight of Sword here, a Knight of Pentacles, a Knight of Wands, which is, I believe, associated with Sagittarius. You don't have a Knight of Cups, okay? So I'm like, why is the Knight of Cups missing? Not love, not falling in love. Anyway, you get these strong, positive, manifesting energies here with the first three cards, heading from a Six of Wands to the Nine of Pentacles to this very attractive Empress card, and it can represent the energies of a man or woman, very sexual energy. But then for some reason you head into all these swords, and I can see some of you with your partners like, maybe I will, maybe I won't. And so when I see these swords showing up after all of this grounded, fiery, passionate energy, I'm getting a little bit of doubt, indecision with your partners or love interest. The Knight of Swords is about being fearless and having courage, communication, taking action, having a discussion, embracing a new path or embracing a new action. But there's confusion here. Eight of Swords is the card of confusion. And then the Two of Swords seems to amplify that confusion because you have to choose between two things. Sometimes it can mean a disconnect with the head and the heart. And then we just let go with the Fool. You know, like, I can't be bothered right now. Or someone could say to you, let's just keep it casual. We don't need to be so serious. That's definitely something that I felt out when I looked at that first row. Like, oh, things got hot and heavy, and then someone freaked out, and then someone dipped and said, okay, I'm going to step back. I need my space. So some of you could find your partners in the first part of the year kind of skittish. Or some of you could have a passionate love affair and like, okay, I'm good. Let's keep it moving. Okay? So this can play out obviously in many different ways. As we head into the middle of the year, we have the two knights here. Remember, the Knight of Pentacles is very slow, but very responsible, very grounded. Takes time to think about things before action. Versus the quicker energy, this is the slowest, this is the fastest. You have this Knight of Wands just like ready to go, rushing into love, because look at what follows here, this Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups is the card of falling in love. Sometimes it can mean a couple also getting back together. So I get the feeling that for some of you, there might be some ups and downs with your partner. Okay? You know, your partner leaves, they take some space, and then they miss you and they come back. And then you have that Page of Wands, the new adventure. 3 of Wands, your hopes, you seem to get your hopes up here. But then this partner, you have a Queen of Cups reversed, a little bit of emotional flakiness, a little bit of insecurity. And maybe some of you are connected to someone who emotionally is like, I'm not sure. I don't know what I want to do emotionally. But depression, insecurity, even emotional selfishness and emotional manipulation, I'm definitely getting that. So it heads into that wheel of the year where I feel like there's going to be a shift where, as I said, the Chariot follows the wheel of the year. So I kind of feel like there's a shift happening here where you're ready to move forward either way, with or without you. And that's when we get this Chariot heading into the lack of trust, a betrayal, if you will, for some of you. And then the big blow up here, because 5 of Wands is a minor conflict, but when you get a 5 of Swords, and 5 is the number of conflict and change, that 5 of Swords indicates some type of argument or confrontation. Okay? And once again, I'm noticing how these swords are showing up as if to say this insecurity, this lack of trust, these communication issues. Let's be honest with each other here. So that's when the Magician comes with that wand again. So you're using this wand energy in different ways. I'm seeing you, Leos, navigate this new journey of love. And I'm not even assuming that this is all going to be just one person. Some of you Leos could be dealing with more than one relationship. Some of you could be leaving one relationship in the beginning of the year and heading into a second one the second half of the year. Very, very possible. So with all the confrontation and misunderstandings happening with these 2 5s, the 5 of Wands and then the 5 of Swords, you're definitely not happy here with this 5 of Wands. Then you get the 5 of Swords, where you might have a partner who's like, yeah, so. And so that's where I see the big blow up. The Page of Swords gets at the truth. The Page of Swords cuts through all of the bullshit. And so you do have this Page of Wands, but this Page of Swords might be useful here because this is where I feel some of you will see what's really going on. The truth will come out about your partner's intentions. And then it ends with the Sun. And when I see the Sun here at the end, it doesn't necessarily mean that the relationship will work out, but I kind of see some of you Leos. The Sun also brings heat, and it brings clarity, and it brings light, and it exposes everything. I feel like some of you, whether you stay with your partner or not, You're going to be like, whatever, I am done with you. Um, if I can't be with you, don't worry, I'm going to find someone else. So, yes, I feel like some of you Leos are going to let loose, um, you know, get your groove on, so to speak. But also, also some of you might be navigating a relationship that's growing and the other person just keeps being back, they're all back and forth and flaky, and you're like, let's get it together here because I'm ready. Okay. And that's not a bad thing. Sometimes that happens in relationships where people are not on the same page, but I think you're going to come out of this this year. It's going to be very exciting for you. Obviously, there are going to be some issues and obstacles with your partner or love interest, but I feel like you're going to be strong enough and confident enough to get what you want out of this. Okay? So that was my reading. I want to thank everybody for subscribing and their support throughout the year. If you made a donation or if you got a reading, thank you so much for your support. January readings are coming up in a few days, so stay tuned for that. And if you've been thinking about getting a reading, you might want to check out my $10 relationship energy readings. And they'll be $10 until the end of January. Usually they're $15. So if you've been thinking about getting a reading from me, getting your own video reading, check it out. All right, go to tarotbyaire.com. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the new year. And as always, I wish you love and light.